Words. I grew panicky. I reached up as if to grab a rope, and my hands clutched only water. I was suffocating. I tried to yell, but no sound came out. So, I'm not going to read further because it's a very long description where William is telling that how he felt. He went down into the pool once, then he gathered his strength, pushed himself up, came, but he did not come out of the water. His eyes came, his nose came, but his mouth did not come. So he was not able to scream. And then he went down into the water again. Second time, he reached the bottom, he hit himself hard, came up. Again, the same thing happened. When the third time he went down into the pool, he simply gave up. He made no efforts. Right? So I'm just taking you to that paragraph which says that then all efforts ceased. Ceased means stopped. I relaxed. Even my legs felt limp and a blackness swept over my brain. It wiped out fear, it wiped out terror. Means at that moment, he did not feel the water's fear. There was no more panic. It was quiet and peaceful, nothing to be afraid of. Right? So now the third time, he stopped making any efforts. He accepted that he is going to die, and that was very peaceful for him. I crossed to oblivion and the curtain of life fell. Oblivion means a state where you don't know what is happening. And curtain of life fell means he thought that he was going to die, he's dead because he became unconscious. Then after this, he was pulled out by people, right? And he was saved. When they asked this 18-year-old boy, why did he throw him into the water? He said, I was only fooling. I was only fooling means he did this only for fun. Okay, so many a times people or especially teenagers do something just for fun. They don't realize the impact of their actions. You can relate this with what happens in colleges, right? People tease each other just for the sake of fun. So it should not be to the extent that it affects an individual deeply. I never went back to the pool. I feared water. I avoided it whenever I could. Okay, so this boy, he developed a deep fear of water after that. And he could not go to any place, any river or any lake, and the fear would return to him. This handicap stayed with me as the years rolled by. Okay, and so this line tells you that how it spoiled all his fishing trips, deprived me of the joy of canoeing, boating and swimming. So you must know these words to write the answer to the question that what effect this fear had on William Douglas. Right? So now we have understood how this fear had a deep impact on the psychology of William Douglas. So he did not really give in. Right? He then decided to overcome this fear. But it helped me firmly in the grip. Finally, one October, I decided to get an instructor and began to swim. So he made a conscious effort to overcome his fear, and the most logical step was to take outside help. So he took one instructor who guided him, who was with him at every step. Right? So, thus, piece by piece, he built a swimmer. When he had perfected each piece, he put them together into an integral whole. In April, he said, Now you can swim. Dive off and swim the length of the pool. I did. The instructor was finished, but I was not finished. Now, this is again an important line, which means that the role of instructor was finished. The instructor had taught him everything that was there to be taught. But he had not finished, meaning that some amount of fear was still left inside him. He had learned the art of swimming, he had learned all the strokes, but some fear was still there inside him, and only he could conquer that. So I still wondered if I would be terror stricken when I was alone in the pool. I tried it. I swam the length up and down. Tiny vestige of old terror would return. Vestige means remains. So some amount of fear was still in his heart, and it came back. Trying to scare me? Well, here is to you, look. And off I would go for another length of the pool. So William Douglas is treating his fear as an individual. Okay? That way, it is easy for him to handle. It's easy for him to overcome. It's difficult for us to deal with something that we cannot see. So he considered his fear as an individual, and he's talking to his fear. And then in this paragraph, we are told that how he went from one place to the other trying to overcome his fear of water. Now the last part is really important. The experience had a deep meaning for me, as only those who have known stark terror and conquered it can appreciate. In death, there is peace. There is terror only in fear of death, as Roosevelt knew when he said, "All we have to fear is fear itself." Please underline this statement. Remember this. You've seen the advertisement of Sprite, I guess, which says that डर के आगे जीत है. तो जब तक हम डरते हैं तभी तक वो डर हमारे साथ है. Once we try to overcome it, the fear is gone. So you can be asked to explain this line. So please go through this, understand it nicely. Because I had experienced both the sensation of dying and terror that fear of it can produce, the will to live somehow grew in intensity. So, William Douglas wanted to enjoy more because he had known the fear, he had seen death very closely. So, all the best, students. Please read the chapter carefully, and I'm sending you some questions. Please do answer them.